Scott Butzer here with the Today Show with you as always. As you may know, every year we televise a brief 5-minute special in dedication to a person who has greatly influenced the past millennium. It must be a person who has shaped the modern world either politically, economically, socially, or intellectually. This year is selected the famous German monk, Martin Luther. Widely known to be the man who jump-started the Protestant Reformation, there have only been a handful of men who have single-handedly changed the world to the extent that Luther did. Some men have changed in a positive manner, others in a negative. After this special, you can decide for yourself. I'm joined here today by 3 extraordinary gentlemen. We got Father Kyle, world-renowned priest. Kyle, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How about you?
Quite well, thank you very much. Also joined by author, scholar, and church doctor, Jonathan Starr. He is here to also promote his book, Martin Luther. And I'm also joined by church historian, Mr. Trevor Wadwa. Trevor, how are you this morning?
Good, how about you, Scott?
I'm solid. Alright, well, let's start talking about Martin Luther here. Mr. Starr, would you like to describe the significance of the Protestant Reformation?
When asked what event of the past, other than the resurrection, of course, had the greatest influence on the modern church today, one may call to mind the Council of Trent. Others may recall the Great Western Schism or the Crusades, and others may ponder whether or not it was the Vatican II. All of these events would be viable options because they ushered in new eras for the church. However, there's one major event that was omitted. It was the Protestant Reformation, or movement of Christian reform that launched Protestantism. This major movement was brought about by a mere human being, the one and only Martin Luther.
Martin Luther, there's that name again. Mr. Wadwa, would you tell us who this Martin Luther guy is, please?
Martin Luther was a highly educated German monk who was widely accepted as a man who launched the Protestant Reformation, thus sending the Roman Catholic Church into a tailspin. Luther was educated while living a secluded life in a German monastery. It was here that Luther developed self-discipline and vowed to avoid all forms of sin while leading a simplistic life. He was also a man of great faith, and he applied his faith to many of his aspects of his life, not just the Reformation. For instance, Luther assisted in the translation of the Bible from Greek into Latin. Luther found all these traits to be quite valuable when it came time for him to lead the Reformation.
There's that word again, the Reformation, Protestant Reformation. So what was the church like at the time of the Reformation, and why were they so vulnerable to this man, Martin Luther?
Well, I can answer that very simply, Scott. At the time of the Reformation, the church was filled with corruption. The hierarchy of the church was accepting of indulgences or cash payments from nobles and the laity. In turn, church officials compromised the donors' eternal life. This was, of course, not true at all. The church was becoming more and more involved in political affairs throughout Europe. They became so involved in politics that they turned their attention away from this corruption. Of course, the church is capable of making mistakes because it is operated by humans, and mistakes are part of human nature. However, this mistake was very blatant, and men such as Martin Luther saw this. Luther brought these corruptions to the church's attention when he posted his famous 95 Theses on the door of the church in Wittenberg, Germany. In these theses, Luther called for reform and revision. He also cited that the church was promoting that one could buy their way in heaven, and that the church had become insensitive to penance and reconciliation. These theses became a guiding force in the Reformation. Because of the recent development of the printing press, Luther's 95 theses could be printed and viewed throughout Europe. Hold on, I'm not done yet. With the circulation of this pamphlet, Luther gave support and recognition, and the movement grew. With this newfound support, Luther began to reveal his views. He believed that one could only achieve salvation based on the faith alone. These basic principles became the foundation of a new branch of Christianity, Protestantism. Protestantism gained the support of many Europeans and became one of the world's predominant religions, and it took Catholics away from the church. However, this teaching did not come without consequence for Luther. Luther was excommunicated from the Roman Catholic Church and was summoned to the deity of Diet of Worms. At the Diet of Worms, where he was declared a heretic and virtually banished from society. Nearly 25 years after this day, Luther passed away at the age of 62.
It's a lot to digest.
It's very simple, though. Quite simple.
Yes, you are. After all
I
that,
summarized that well, didn't I?
quite well. You just sit down. And after all that, what will be his legacy? Mr. Wallman?
Despite his death, Luther's legacy lives on today. The United States and Europe are home to many Protestants today. Not only did Luther create a new branch of Christianity, but he also brought light upon the corruptions of the church. Eventually, the church realized that Luther was right in the fact that they were corrupt, and they revised their ways soon afterward. There is no doubting the strong influence he had on the modern church today.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yes, he was truly a monumental figure. This is all we got from Martin Luther, but coming up next, he is in studio for the first time ever. So one-on-one for an exclusive interview. He slays dragons, casts spells, he was on the Titanic, he was on the Jedi Council long ago in a galaxy far away, and he spells silly words with the letters in his alphabet soup. Chase Nagel. Hello everyone, Scott Putzer, welcome on MSNBC News, and Good Morning America with Hello everyone, Scott Putzer, field correspondent for MSNBC in partnership with Today Show with you as always. As you may know, every year we televise a brief 5-minute special in dedication to a person who has greatly influenced the past millennium. It must be a person who has shaped the modern world either politically, socially, economically, or intellectually, etc. This year we've selected the famous German monk, Martin Luther, widely known to be the man who jump-started the Protestant Reformation. There have only been a handful of men who have single-handedly changed the world to the extent that Luther did. Some of these men have influenced the world negatively and others positively. After this 3-minute special, that's about whatever. You can decide for yourself. With me to discuss Martin Luther, I'm here with church doctor, scholar, and author, newly author John Starr, here to promote his book, Martin Luther, creative, drafted. Thanks. Creativity is the title. I'm also joined by church historian Trevor Wadawa. Good morning, Trevor. And I'm also here with world-renowned priest Kyle Parnell. Father Kyle, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Good to hear. All right. You said on page 15, the walk was not long, and the boys were strong and enthusiastic. In Magdeburg, they found shelter at Moshauer's home, where Martin lived during his... I'm just going to stop. That's absolutely brilliant. That's